Okay, Expression Studio here on Hamilton between 5th and 6th.
542.
542. How did three artists come together? Did the three artists, how did you three come together to, you know,
Well, it was a matter of economics. To have this space by one artist is really not affordable, at least not for me. We have been very fortunate that Femi, Andy, and I, we just love this building. We love what this building has inside. The Antonio Saleme downstairs it's I don't know. I just feel like there's art in here even before we ever got here.
The building has a beautiful energy.
okay.
And it's so we knew each other, and I was here first. Ellen Cafcales had this space here, and Joe Bruno had this space there. They had to leave, and I definitely didn't want to leave. I don't want to be anywhere else. I love it, and I was lucky that Femi was looking for a space at that time, and then Andy also has been growing out of where she was, and right now we're almost growing out of this space here.
I see that. I see that. Yeah, no, especially with places, like one of the first places that most people think of in the area, and even who don't live here but are somewhat familiar with it, is like over you have the Banana Factory. You know, one of the first places people think of. You know, and now the Cigar Factory here in Allentown, which is on the same level as the Banana Factory. So there are so many different spaces in the area that, you know, artists can actually go.
Yes, we have a landlord that would love nothing more but to fill this building with art,
Okay.
with artists, and there's plenty of room. And it is this building has I don't know what it has, but there must.
Well, number one, a great view.
Yes.
I mean, that's one of the things I love about
It's
Salime
fantastic.
is, you know, attending events at Salime is the window right there. It's like you can look right out into the city, the street, you know, and everything. So it's the view is definitely different.
And our location, I mean, we are like a block and a half from the museum and the arts park, and now with all the building in the city, it's just a lot of energy.
Okay.
Positive energy towards developing and creating art.
Yeah, it seems like, you know, especially which we'll get to in a little bit, but with what you three have coming up, something major coming up is one of many. The Cigar Factory, it seems like Allentown is actually starting to slowly become more and more alive and slowly starting to take center stage in the arts.
Yes, we have, well, actually on the 19th, we are going to be at the Cigar Factory too. We're having
Okay. And that's
artwork and
third Thursday on the 19th.
Thursday the 19th. We also have become, we're managing the Allentown artwork that used to be Diane Teddy. She had given to us that name and the space there because she is now more interested in the homeless, and she does a lot of wonderful work with that. So we were just lucky that she approached us. And Femi, maybe you want to tell him more about that, because a lot of the good ideas that we came together for.
Yeah, everybody feel free to jump in at any given moment. This isn't.
You know, with the emerging artists.
I was just chilling out a bit. I really enjoy this space here, and you know, just the simplicity of it is that I was looking for some studio space to work, because I was used to working out of where I live. You know, when I was upstate New York for like 15 years, close enough to Lark Street in Albany that I had a first floor where I could have my studio and some showing space, and it was close enough to to the art district in Albany to where I just lived in, and did that for about 12 years. So when I moved back to this area, because I'm originally from this area, when I moved back to this area, it just wasn't conducive to work at home. I had been visiting here a couple of times, and let me know there was some space back there, so I figured this was a pretty decent place to jump right back in.
Okay.
Because it's only like a 5-minute drive here, so I mean, the dog come and hang out.
Yeah, 5-minute drive, barring no traffic accidents, right?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all.
Especially with all the road construction. So, now, how long have you been an artist? That's my next question. There, all three. How as far as how long you've been an artist, how your background and history, so people can get to know your experience and your style a little better.
Well, I've been doing art for a long time. I kind of started out years ago doing a lot of pencil and charcoal portraits. When I was younger. But then I always loved doing just drawing. I always had a pencil or a pen in my hand. I just drawing, and most of my drawings were kind of like just different reflections of what I seen. It was like a lot of collage drawing. Body parts, and parts of buildings, parts of anything, and just drawing. And I just started over the years. I just started adding more color to it. Just doing what I feel, art for art's sake. And along the way, it has developed some pretty decent opportunities. And that's what I seek to do here, just do art for art's sake, and know that there is value in the presence, the value in just expressing it, the value in just doing what you feel.
Okay.
And the rest comes along with it. So I just want to be able to, share that, what I can with other people that are doing art for art's sake. And that's what I like about this area, especially in Allentown here now, because looking at the whole valley, there's a lot going on in Allentown that is art for art's sake.
Yeah.
And there's times when we have an opportunity to show it. Because it's kind of about wall space. If there's a wall somewhere, that is willing to show art, then we put art on it.
Yes, absolutely.
There are.
So, and if I have an opportunity to bring somebody else along, and give them and allow them to have the opportunity to show art and next to other people that are doing the same thing, that no matter what level of their career, I just feel that it's a good experience all along, and enriches all of us in many ways.
Okay. Now, one thing I've put in my articles since I first started writing about the arts as a blog is, and I will get back to the history of all the artists shortly, but the Lehigh Valley is kind of a unique area, though, because especially like Allentown, Bethlehem, and Easton, where, unfortunately the towns, pretty much it's a small town, you do see some artists, but not that much, where you could walk into a bar, you could walk into a deli, you could walk into a hair salon, and don't be surprised to see local artists or, have them do an art exhibit opening. That's one thing that, I find fairly, do you agree that's kind of fairly unique especially for this area, that you can pretty much see the art almost anywhere you walk in around here, local artists. Do you agree with that, or am I kind of off base here?
No, I think you're right on base. I think that sometimes when cities begin to grow, art sort of finds it before the developers do. and they begin to just be there because it is the soul of the city.
Okay.
It's the soul of humankind, I think. A world without the arts, and not only visual arts, but music and poetry, dance. It will be very sterile.
Yeah, I mean, cavemen were decorating their caves, so it's something that comes from humanity within. It's something that they did even when they were just trying to survive. They still took the time to create art, and it's something within you, and I think everybody has it. I mean, maybe different levels, different skills, but human beings have the need to create, whether it's art, music, writing, anything. There's just spoken word, poetry. I think everybody has it.
Theater, acting. Like with myself, the two types of photography, artistic and photojournalistic, video, everything. It's, and it seems like even in today's world where people think of art, they think of painting, they think of theater, even the stereotypes starting to die off, but they don't realize music, even a cover band, is a form of art because they're performing, and it's like they don't realize exactly when you say art in the arts exactly how all encompassing that term really is. Now, who wants to give, who's next as far as the background?
I can go. I've always done art. My family was always very much interested in art. We always went to museums, and my family purchased art, and it was very much encouraged. Instead of regular birthday parties, we would have art parties. We would sit at the table, and my sister, my mom, and I, and we would all, because my mom's an artist, and my sister's very creative, and we would just sit there and create. That was what was fun for us. Not going to a movie, not doing other things. We would just all sit and do art.
Okay. And how long have you been doing it? Yeah, ballpark about.
In this way, with shows and everything, not very long.
Well, I mean, as far as, in general, like when did you start realizing, okay, this isn't just for fun, I actually might want to take this seriously?
I always wanted to take it seriously. I didn't realize that it was a viable option until probably a year ago.
Okay.
And I started doing art shows, and people were like, hey, I like that. I really like that, which was kind of shocking because I usually just did it for myself. So now it's kind of more, other people have access to it, so it's a completely different art experience for me.
Okay.
I was usually the one appreciating other art, but now it's being appreciated.
Okay. Now for yourself, which one do you like? Which one do you prefer being on?
I'm much better at appreciating other people's art.
Okay. But you can't take the people, you can't take the critique though, like most people, right?
I can do that.
Because I know some people, I realize, in fact, a couple people I reviewed over the past year, closing on 2 years, were like, oh, wow, well, you gave us a bad review. Well, you're in the spotlight. If you can't take it, it's, if you're putting yourself out there in the spotlight, you kind of have to take the good with the bad, as long as it's not flat out, well, we hate you, you suck, without a reason.
Absolutely. And I think for me right now, it's about finding the balance, like not necessarily, like taking people's opinions into consideration, but not necessarily making a complete change. Just trying to find my way, and critique is definitely a part of it, and critiquing myself. I think I probably do that too much, but that's part of being an artist.
Every single human being is their own worst, at least every single honest human being is their own worst critic, so. But, okay, now, last victim in this area.
My father was a portrait photographer. My whole family on that side of the family. And I grew up just looking at the pictures developing in this pool of chemicals where a white piece of paper all of a sudden had a face on it.
Yes, there was photography before digital.
Yes, and it was wonderful that I had that opportunity and being born and being exposed to that. My dad was always very much into the arts, and I was exposed to theater and music and a lot of things. It was, as a kid, it was more like, well, she has to tag along because we're not gonna leave her at the house. And but I remember, like Femi was saying, I remember just a piece of paper and a pencil since I was very young, drawing. My dad used to have a lot of photography books where they had a lot of images, and I would take the books and I will copy the images.
Okay.
And I was very much into black and white for a long period of my life with charcoal and pencil and all of that, and portraits. And I discovered color, really discovered color, only about, I would say, 10 years ago. And when I discovered color, it was like amazing, and it's like all of a sudden it's a hot day and you find this nice, cool place with a lake or a river, and you just take all your clothes off and jump into it. And that's how I got it.
I can picture a few. I can picture a few lakes I've been to up in the Poconos when I was a kid that are like that, where it was like you're just driving around some kind of back road. Oh, this looks, perfect day. This looks beautiful. You know what? I have somewhere to go, but I can take that 5 minutes. So yeah.
I went to school, and I have taken all sorts of things where they teach you techniques and they teach you art appreciation, art history, all sorts of things. All of that is really good, but I always revert to the fact that the caveman walked into that cave and put his hand in the right place.
Yep.
And, it's within us.
I'm sure, as later in the years after after the first few cave drawings, at some point they did have some form of loose knit class on how to do cave drawings, but
Probably somebody from another tribe came in and says, "Hey, we've been doing this longer than you. We'll tell you how to."
we've refined this technique of using these pigments. So
Actually, my first experience with public art was actually in fourth grade. My fourth grade teacher caught me in the back of the room drawing female figures, and she made me go up to the blackboard and draw Davy Crockett on the backboard, and holding a musket, and it was appreciated, So
probably floored the teacher and the entire class.
So for me, that's the first time, in life where what I was doing, expressing myself artistically, had any meaning.
Okay.
So for me, even doing it today, it has to be. It's just part of my meaning,
So you can't force it, you really can't force us to just flow naturally, correct?
No, yeah, well, it's just. I think within all of us, it's just an expressing of who we are and what we are inside, because I pretty much look at it as my definition of modernity, of what modern art is, and for me it's just a conscience, it's just an expression of what I felt, what I see, and just doing it because I kind of just have to do shit, so
Everyone has to.
so I do stuff.
Yeah.
And a big part of the meaning is making sure that as as artists from whatever direction, because I went to school for art for a few years, and I had all types of critiques and this and papers and things that that we have to do as far as being educated in art, and I appreciate I appreciate whatever direction, and I appreciate all the artists that come from that direction, but there are a lot of artists that come from other directions, whether they're whether we are self-taught or a combination of the both, or just just doing art for art's sake.
Okay.
There's still a lot of value in it, so a lot of the meaning for me is to make sure that myself and other artists are looked at for the value that they walk around with, in their shoes every day, and that they are that they are respected for that, and not just, it's just not something that, that they do and doesn't have any value. Because everyone has value.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a wall. So,
Yeah.
we got a couple. We got a couple of walls, and for some artists to show, their work on, and we're gonna put some art up on the walls, and we're gonna take it down and put some more stuff up.
Yes.
And,
We are.
and see what happens along the way.
We're really.
And merge it into what has already been established here in Allentown, because there's some really great things going on. Like I said, I grew up in Easton, and I lived in Allentown. I moved upstate New York in the in the '90s, and just moved back here recently. The past couple of years, and I love what's been happening with art in the Lehigh Valley. So I'm just
The town I lived in North Carolina, right before I left, due to lack of funding, the only art museum was closed right before I left. So I came back up here and I was like, huh? Especially after I started writing about it, I was like, I'm like, what do people mean when there's nothing to do, there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to see in the area?
I'm sure art is showing up in places, even
Yeah.
when the museum is closed. Art cannot be stopped.
Oh, no, I can't.
And I totally agree with what Femi was saying about expression. And many times I just think that it really doesn't originate within me. It just passes by, and it's just an experience that I don't think I can do anything else but this. If I had to go back to doing
Like a 9-to-5 job or something.
things, well, we do what we need.
Yeah, I understand, but to go back to that as a career.
Yes, when I was talking about my dad, I should have mentioned that I was born in Cuba.
Okay.
I was born in Cuba, and recently, the more that I express myself through painting and doing things like that, I'm finding more and more connection with my roots. And I love the Lehigh Valley. I love this city of Allentown. I love being here. And it's great when I hear Femi saying I was born here and I'm coming back. I'm a little jealous because I cannot say I was born here and I'm coming back. But I feel like I've been here for so long that
It's home to you. It's home.
It's just as mine, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take if you don't mind, we'll take a quick break because as an author, before everything else, I like to leave things on a cliffhanger and do a part 2.
All right.
Do a sequel. So if you don't mind, we'll take a quick break and, so...